Peace. Islam. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me. If you're able to hear me, let me know. Put something in the chat if you can hear. All right. If you good. Hopefully you could hear me earlier. If not, it's all good. So we're gonna be getting started. Just a quick session with the Moabites. For anybody who wants to check out our other stream, our other podcast, go over to the 144,000. You could just type that on YouTube, THA 144000. All right, and go ahead and check that out. And we're gonna get started right now, so don't go anywhere. Peace and love, Moors.
I am not a Negro, Black, colored, African American. I'm a Moorish American. Peace.
Yeah. Hey, 5 on the right, 2 on the left, man. You know what time it is. Yo. We just Moors in America, soared through the shores and endured criminal acts of war on our character. 7 years after the 4th score, no reward. Shout out to the most courageous, they was jumping over barriers. Where does that compare to you? We come from a place where you scared to visit our area. We come from a place where it's scary for good Samaritans. Heavy luggage we carrying, babies having babies. It's crazy being American. Praise the one and only Allah, there's no comparison. La ilaha illa Allah, body and buried gin. Laughing at you clowns like ha-ha, dodging the Nephilim. Conquer lower self with a high, follow your regimen. Way before they came we were gods and now we specimen. Tried to take the light from our eyes, thank God for Edison. Then they put the wool on our eyes, it's so embarrassing. Now we travel frequently, we should invest in Sheraton. All of us got gold on our bodies whenever we stepping in. Screaming Ramadan, Mubarak, training the flesh again. Wishing we could move as a unit just like the Mexicans. Dodging all the foods with estrogen, synthetic medicines. All sin isn't devilish. Sometimes the decisions that you make come for a better gift. Sometimes when you sin is to relate to all your brethren. Heavenly gates all in our face, we the champions. We live in the sky, we see the angels on the chariots. Waiting on the $20 bill, face a Harriet. I bet you I'ma carry it. I'm in love with music to the point I wanna marry it. But my love for people is greater, so I write messages. Largest spending power, but we still sit at a deficit. Living amongst prejudice, even at our residence. Moors in America, flourishing, excellent. Let's buy up some neighborhoods and groom our own president. Yeah. And I come to you today with all intentions of spreading love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Islam, Moors, Islam, peace and love. Hopefully you can hear us. We're just going to be speaking on the current climate, on what's going on. Just from our perspective, I advise everybody to go over and check out our other channel, the 144,000. You can subscribe. It's also on Facebook as well, THA 144000. I put that in the chat, so you can just go over to the chat and just click on the link, or you can look it up on YouTube at the 144,000. We're going to go ahead and get started up, though, now. Just want to speak on some of the stuff that's happening. I know everybody's seeing all the craziness, right? Everybody's seeing it. So we're just going to talk on it for a little bit. And feel free to chime in the chat with your take on things. Just, what you see, what you think of it. But, we're going to share things from our perspective right now. And I think it's important to, to speak on this maybe from an uncommon view, because I know what the common narrative is going to be already. All right, especially for people that look like us. We pretty much, for the most part, a lot of us, we all have like similar views. Okay, so I don't know if you're gonna agree with what we have to say, but it's all good. We're gonna say it anyway. So check this out, and yeah, like I said, man, feel free to share your insight in the chat, and we will be doing this on a regular basis from the 144,000. On here, we're specifically speaking on topics and issues from a Moorish American perspective, but on the 144,000, it's a little wider scope where we're speaking to our people, whether they realize they're Moors or not. So that's why I would say everybody go over there as well, and tell your friends and family to go over there too. Okay, so we'll be getting started right now.
Peace.
All right, peace. So we're talking. What were you just saying just now?
We're taking a stroll through the city, and we're talking about all the stuff that's going on. It's really going on worldwide, but it's a big magnifying glass on America because America is the greatest country on earth, and the people here, for the most part, are complacent because they're happy. So when Americans start, just up in arms and storming the state house and, just fed up, we tired of these fixed elections, and, a lot of people don't pay enough attention to what's happening because everybody is so cool to go with the flow, just go, having their day-to-day lives, hustle and bustle, just enjoying the holidays. And, these are the same people that don't vote, that don't, attend the board meetings, that are not aware of what's happening around them, all the bills and all of the laws and things that's happening every day all around you, and you are unaware. That is not okay. These are the same people who's online complaining about everything all the time, bitching and complaining all the time, but never ready to get their hands dirty, never ready to, boots to the ground, get stuff done, do what you're supposed to do for make real change. You have to be political, you have to be aware, you have to rub elbows and to know the law and to know the amendments and to know the Constitution. How many Americans actually know the Constitution? Right, exactly. I bet your neighbor does not. I bet the person you're with does not. You probably don't. Okay, so that's a problem because people who come into this country from other countries to get their, green cards or whatever, their citizenship, they have to know things. And a lot of Americans, if you ask them the same questions to pass that test, you would fail. And that is 100% facts. Okay? 100% facts. You will fail if you had to take that test to become a citizen of this United States of America. And that is sad because there are people coming here from other countries who could pass the test because they study. So they know things about the law, about the state law, about politics that you do not know. That is not okay. It's not okay anymore. We're in the information age. We have fingertips, and what do? We get on Facebook, we post, we do stupid. It's not okay anymore.
You said something too before the broadcast. You were saying how the people aren't even doing anything. Like, they're not voting, they're not doing anything to actually participate in the government of their lives.
Right. And that's crazy because it's like, here you are powerful. It's for the people. You are the people. We the people. But if we the people are not involved and do not study and do not understand what's happening and playing a part, then you're not the people. Like our forefathers bust their butts to form a government that works. That's for the people, okay? And whether you love it or hate it, it works if the people work it. And, politicians, they used to be tarred and feathered for the stuff that they're pulling today, this day and age. It was not okay. Nobody wanted to be a politician because it was too much stress on them to be upright and for the people. And we have these puppet people in office right now. People are pulling their strings. They're doing it all. Career politicians doing it all for the money. And it's like they getting over. And it's like, don't hate on the so-called patriots who is, out there doing what they got to do to be heard. I mean, yeah, that's not the way to do it. But guess what? Everybody in the world seeing them do what they doing right now. And I'm not saying that it's the right thing to do, but guess what? They know the law. They have their guns, right? They know their Second Amendment. They know they have right to bear arms. They know they have freedom of speech. They know, how to play the game. You got to know how to play the game, and by me being a Moorish American, I understand that so-called black people cannot play the game. Okay? You might not understand what I'm saying if you have not studied with us. So I do recommend, you just come into a couple of meetings so that you can understand what's really happening in your life, because it's going to affect you whether you like it or not. It's already affecting you. It's affecting your children. And it's like, who knows how long this stuff is going to last the way that it's going. It's time for a change. And if the people don't wake up, open their eyes and see what's happening, it won't be changed for the good. It won't be changed for the people. It'll just be like, okay, this is what they doing now. We're going to do this. We're going to wear masks for the rest of our lives. No, okay? That is not right. The mask does not stop the virus. It's a virus. Okay? Like, this is just for fear and control, right? How come nobody's talking about what to do when, you get sick? How come there's no information from your doctors telling you what to do in order not to get sick? Okay, build that immune system, exercise. This is all common sense what people all over the world already do, right? But we live a different lives. We get into the car to go down the street for a burger, okay? People don't do that everywhere in the world. Everybody's walking. Everybody is sweating. Everybody is moving around. Everybody knows everybody in their community, and that's one thing that is not good about America no more, because there's no real community. There's people living next to each other for 12, 15 years, and they never talk to each other. They don't know their names. They just, they see them, they wave, and keep going. But there's no real trust. There's no real relationship. We have to start building relationships with our neighbors. These are people that you live next to. It's like if anything pops off, these are the people that you're supposed to be relying on, dependent on to work together to get stuff done. Now you think about that, because that's some real stuff right there. You see these zombie movies, apocalypse movies, like they coming out with them every year. And seeing is believing. So before you believe it or not, it might be reality here in a little while for a lot of people. And it's like, that's why it's so important for you to know your rights, know the laws, work with people, build trust in your community, build trust with your neighbors, know who's who and what's what at all times. And teach your children, because it's getting really real, and you're still watching, music videos and this fantasy world where everybody's partying, having fun, wearing bling, throwing money at strippers. It's like, bruh, playtime is over. Get your life in order, get your house in order, make plans, stock up. Be ready so you don't have to get ready, okay? And, we always hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst so that if time ever do come, you'll be ready. and you won't be out here looking stupid in the streets with nowhere to go and no supplies. And that's the realest talk, you could ever have with anybody today. Because I've lived in a third world country. I know how to survive if there's no running water. I know how to survive if there's no electricity. I know what to do. I know how to get things done. And those are all skills that college didn't teach me. Those are all skills that, being educated and getting degrees and all this stuff, it didn't teach me, Like, I know people with all kinds of degrees, and I know people with no degrees who's making more money than them. So all those, positions, titles, degrees, that means absolutely nothing to a person like me and millions of people all over this planet. Okay? Because all that stuff is eventually going to come down, and it's going to fall into the hands of the people who know how to survive, to know how to do things. You don't know how to do nothing, but you driving a nice car. You don't know how to fix that car, right? If it breaks down. So that's what I'm talking about. Build relationships with people in your community, because your neighbor might be a mechanic. You feel me? Think like this. This is vital thinking. Like, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I mean, that's hard living. I've seen a lot of things growing up, And so, like, I know people who never left their neighborhood. I know people who never left their city. That's another thing. You got to get out and travel. You have to see the world. You have to experience real, true life, because there's no McDonald's on every corner everywhere. Okay? And if you don't know how to cook and prepare meals, or even have to forage for, food, you're going to be in trouble if worse come to worse, and that's what we have to do. So this is just talk about, just open your eyes to a reality that you're not used to, and focus on positive things. But like I said, just always be ready for whatever might come your way.
Okay, I have some stuff to say. I just want to say that, like, our people, like, as a collective, just are supremely uninformed and not prepared, really, truly, to rule themselves, to govern themselves. There's some people amongst us that's astute, that understand government and law, but it's like it's a tiny amount. Even some of those people don't really know what they're talking about. And like, for example, you see people sharing the memes, making fun of the situation that happened with the Patriots, or so-called Patriots, mostly European, going into the Capitol building. Everyone sharing the same meme of this person is disabled. They're in a wheelchair. Person didn't have any limbs. And they talking about who let the boneless wing in. And it's like, okay, you making fun of that, right? You having jokes, but you don't even know what the hell's going on. Like you were saying, you don't vote, you're not voting, so you definitely not following up with the people that are in office, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to. You're not on the school board, you don't sit on the school board, you're not going to the meetings, you're not going to the town hall meetings, you're not doing anything. You're not participating. You're so foolish that you're making fun of Trump, and you don't even realize that Trump is the only person who's putting this information out there. Trump, was talking about the coronavirus deal, the stimulus packet, talking about how they're putting millions and millions and billions of dollars out there, sending all this money all over the world, sending billions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars to, Afghanistan for gender studies and all this crazy stuff, which what they're really doing, they're just laundering money, right? And whose money is it? It's tax-paying dollars. Yeah. It's your money. And they're going to send billions of dollars over here and then pay themselves. They're breaking themselves off. Yeah. They're not even going to work half the time. They don't show up. They're always on break. They're paying themselves. Then they're breaking themselves off under the table, illegally, making sure that they're laundering it so that it comes back to them and the corporations that are paying them, giving them welfare. So they're taking your taxpaying money and doing this, and then they're squabbling over what to give you. Oh, no, 2,000, that's too much. No, they don't deserve that. It is your money, and you have no say over it, right? These people who are supposed to be your employees, they are public servants. You put them in there to manage this and to help govern your society, and they're sitting up saying, oh, there's too much. No, we can't do that. But they're sending the money off in all these different places. So he said that, and it just went over everyone's head. Of course, it was not mentioned in the mainstream media at all. CNN, none of these people said anything about it. Matter of fact, the narrative that they gave of what he said was so dumb. It was so stupid. I don't even remember how they flipped it. But they made it sound so stupid. I guess he was saying, the $600, that's not enough. The Americans deserve 2,000. And then he was saying, like, they're sending all of this money to all of these places, and there's no way he can sign off on that. And nobody covered it, except for some of these people that you're saying are racist. Right? White supremacists and all that. So he's exposing. This is something that he didn't go along with the status quo. He's the only president in my lifetime who's not a career politician. They all are. They tried to paint Obama as one who wasn't a career, but he was. He served in Senate, and he'd been, wheeling and dealing in D.C. since before he even got in that position. He was groomed for that. All right? They'll tell you he was a lawyer or a constitutional lawyer, but what cases did he have? He was basically, a bureaucrat. He was in that position, wheeling and dealing, waiting for his turn to run for president. He's a career politician, just like Bush and his son and Clinton and Hillary, all the people, even the people who run, who don't win, all of them. They're all, Ronald Reagan, all of them. They're all career politicians. Okay? I think Reagan was governor of California for years. All right, so they're all career politicians, and they all have legacies of doing nothing for you, and legacies of sending your money off to foreign countries, financing wars that we don't agree to, that we have nothing to do with, doing all types of corrupt things that we want nothing to do with, and then squabbling over sending you pennies. Okay, and so this is happening. This is going on. And Trump's the only one who's not a career politician. He's a business person. He comes in, he gets in his place, and he's handling it like he's running a corporation. Like, this makes no sense. I'm not signing off on this. Why are we sending $1 trillion here? This is ridiculous. Right? And he's exposing it. And none of these other people would do it. Biden is going to toe the line. He's going to do what he's been doing. He's been in office longer than my parents have been alive. Okay? And I'm a grown-up. He's been in office for a whole entire lifetime and has nothing to show for it. And all of them are like that. And so none of these people will break that mold. They're all going to toe the line. They're all going to keep the secrets. They're not even going to mention all of this money that's being squandered and sent off to these places. And so, like, he put that out there. Even just that alone is revolutionary. He's working to dismantle the Fed, the Federal Reserve. Revolutionary, just amazing. It's incredible. And it's like, forget your feelings. Fuck your feelings. I don't care if you don't like black. I don't care. Black. Anyone like black people.
What is a black person?
People are despicable. Black people are savage. They're not even human. Their lives don't matter.
And this is all written down.
And that's something that they will all keep pushing, that black narrative. Right? Everyone's going to push it. Why? Because we have to do something about it. It's no one's job to come and to pick us up and to let us know, oh, here, dust yourself off. That's not who you are. No, we have to do it. Okay? And so, we're not doing a good job as a collective of correcting a situation and governing ourselves. And people, even the people that are supposed to be smart, that are supposed to know better than this, you can't get past the emotionalism of it. All of the racists that came out of the woodworks to support Trump. You know, he needed an army. He needed people that actually have militias that are actually involved and will come out and do what needs to be done. All right? It wasn't going to be y'all. It wasn't going to be the blacks, right? They're not going to do anything. Not even participating actively in the governing of our own lives as a collective, you know? And so that's
the only way to get things done, for real.
And we have everything we need here to do it. The way that it was set up, we can do it. We can control ourselves. We can take over. And, you know, not doing it. And there's a lot of people that just don't vote at all. So you don't have any say in this stuff anyway, period. You didn't vote either way. All right? You didn't do it. Because most of us don't even participate at all. And that's the truth. So you're sitting on the sidelines and you're just a couch potato. Just, you know, like the person that, hey, well, I'm watching the game. I got all types of ideas. Hey, coach shouldn't even be doing that. Get him out of there. I'm like an expert. But I'm not, because I'm not doing the work. And that's how these people are. And this is where our real lives, you know? And, you know, it's sad, it's pitiful. And, you know, people should be smarter than that. And they're not even getting it. And then at the end of the day, even some of the so-called smart people, they're supposed to think outside the box. If it's not on the mainstream news, if it's not being pushed by celebrities or something like that, you're not rolling with it.
No, you're a pretender.
He's the bad guy.
You're a fictitious person standing for, you know, the real person who's asleep. Trump
is the bad guy. And you're not even smart enough to realize, hey, if this is the bad guy, maybe he's doing something right. It's like, don't you know that one of the Rothschilds, I think David Rothschild, he tweeted, you know, talking trash about Trump because he was working to dismantle the Federal Reserve. And it's like if the Rothschilds are against him, right? Like come on, man. It's one of the 13 Illuminati families. Like, come on, man. Like, are you crazy? They're coming out against him. All of these people are coming out of the woodworks. Somebody's like they hated Muhammad Ali while he was alive in his prime doing his thing. And when he was all old and when he had Parkinson's disease, couldn't really talk, couldn't be radical anymore. Mm-hmm. Now everybody loves him.
Can be strong.
You know?
Right?
And when he
stand on a square, now you love him, right?
Can't really speak for himself. He couldn't even really stand up for himself because not that he couldn't stand up, but, you know, he couldn't really speak for himself because he wasn't as able to articulate himself like he could. Now he's safe. Right. You know, and then like when his funeral, Bill Clinton and all these devils are up there talking about how they love him like he was their enemy. You know, when he was alive, they took the picture of him on Time magazine with all these arrows shot into him. You know, why? Because he was a black radical. That was, you know, white America didn't love him, and neither did these people in power. They hated him. They hated what he represented. Okay? And even though he was the only American hero, you know, he used his celebrity to speak up for what was right. They hated him. Okay? So when they hate something, like they hated Malcolm X, when they hate something, when something's your enemy, the bad guy, maybe they're doing something right. And I don't care who Trump needed to get in the office. I don't care if they're rednecks. I don't care if they're racist. I don't care because none of that crap matters. Those people don't have any power. All right? They're foot soldiers. He needed some foot soldiers to get his thing done. And the things that they're trying to do, look, they feel like their back's against the wall because even if you think they're stupid, and a lot of them are stupid and don't know anything, but even if you think they're dumb, a lot of them are aware that their birth rates are down. They know that their back's against the wall. They see their own demise. And that's why they feel like that. And they can do that all day. I don't care. All right? He's dismantling the system, and you should be all for it if you got a brain. All right? That's pretty much all I have to say.
That's all facts right there. You know, because, like, we don't teach hate. You know, we judge man by the strength of his character, all right? And no matter what's being said or done, we just learn to observe. We don't wish bad on nobody because we're Muslims. We practice peace. All right. And so we know where the true power lies. We know where, the strength comes from. And all that comes from within. But it's not enough people out here who's really practicing this way of life, okay, for us to really get things done yet. So that's why, like I said before, it's important to build yourself up, to build your community, to build relationships, to start participating in your local government. Okay? Stop sending your children to these schools that's just because they're in your district. Okay? This is what bus comes in front of my neighborhood. So this is what school I'm sending my kids to. You never go to the school. You never read up on the school. You don't know anything about the teachers. And then your kid goes there and every day they get in trouble and it's the teacher is racist. You sent your kid there. You set your baby up to fail, right? You set your kid up to fail. You put him in a bad situation, but it's everybody else's fault but yours. No, it's time to be responsible and accountable for your actions, for your life. You are a grown-up. Stop looking for people to take care of you as a grown-up. As a grown-up, you are supposed to take care of you. And if you have a family that you created, you're supposed to take care of them as well. Okay? That's another thing. Like, it's time to grow up and be responsible and be accountable for the actions, for your actions and what's happening in your life. So yes, participate in your local government. Yes, if you want change, make change, right? Stop complaining. Stop talking all the damn time. And then don't just talk about it today, get all fired up, and then go smoke a blunt and play video games or watch the game on TV,
They're legalizing weed.
It's making you complacent.
It messes up your decision-making process and your ability to make good decisions.
Everything does, though.
You want somebody who's high, doing surgery on you? Of course not.
You got to have a clear mind.
Maybe if you're high, you want them because, your decision-making process has been stunted.
It's like, alcohol, substance abuse, drug abuse, all that stuff is a problem. All right? It's not just one thing, food, everything that you're addicted to, TV, Netflix, I don't care what it is. It might not even be as bad to somebody else because it's like, oh, I don't do drugs and I don't do alcohol, but I watch porn. It's like, okay, I don't care what it is. It's a problem, okay? And you need to work on that to be a better person, okay? Like, it doesn't even matter what it is. Like, we're not here to talk about no individuals or specific things, but we see what's plaguing our community, okay? And yes, materialistic, just being materialistic about all kinds of stuff, You're walking around with $300 shoes on your feet, right? But you don't got no food in the refrigerator. That is not okay. Your priorities are not set correctly. So it's like people, okay, you gotta get your mind right, get your house in order, okay? Because we're in the age of Aquarius. It's here. We've been talking about it for years, waiting for this time, okay? It's like, yeah, you can breathe now, okay? This is air sign all day. Breathe easy.
One thing I want to say is like the people need to stop being delusional. The people who come into this Moorish information knowledge, you need to understand something. Like, just plain and simple. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that's smart and think they got things figured out, but people want to fantasize that, like, we have our own government where we don't have to work within the structure that we're already in as far as being U.S. citizens. And, like, look, plain and simple, the Prophet made it pretty clear, very clear, what he meant when he said that he deemed us citizens of the USA. He does this over and over again in the Prophet speaks. Hold on, I don't have the literature right in front of me. So the Prophet says that the movement is to make its members better citizens. all right, of the U.S. government. When he's speaking about the American Constitution being one of the greatest documents ever created, and he says over and over again, to make us better citizens, make us better American citizens. We're American citizens. He says this over and over again, and then he says twice on 2 occasions, he says that the movement is to make its members better citizens. All right? And to give us a better understanding of our place in the U.S. government. And he says that in his own words. So it's crazy that people will try to twist that or try to ignore that whole portion of things and then try to skip over the, we got our nation already. We're running things. He gave us so that we can control our destiny right now within the framework of what we have as U.S. citizens. And it's just plain and simple. And it's easy. And it's over and over again. I mean, I could bore you. You can go to the Moorish American website. It's got an article on there about citizens versus being nationals. And you can read the prophet's words in there. And it makes sense. And it's easy to understand because as you really learn civics of this country, you see how you can govern yourself. You can control your own society. And you shape and form the government. But people don't want that because the same reason, like you're not participating. You're not in the town meetings, the town hall, city hall. You're not doing any of that. You're not on the school board. You don't even care about who's the superintendent or any of that stuff. You're not even involved in who's the sheriff. You don't even know maybe that the sheriff is up for an election. And you're not even thinking about that. You're not it's a lot of people that are smart. They're good people that are even people that are responsible, handling their business. They're not doing that. They're not civically involved. Okay? And so that's why this escapism appeals to people to think that, just magically you can go off and you got your own. Allegedly the prophet said he did the European here long enough to teach you how to run government. So if you're not participating, you're not doing these things right now, you're not ready. And you're giving them more time to rule over you. All right, it's not just, magically we got this paperwork and we free and you got to respect us. They're fighting right now. There's a war going on right now, covert war already right now. We have no idea how deep this thing goes. We have no idea what type of military operations are going on, behind the scenes with the president and the deep state or whatever you want to call it, the cabal, the people that are right now trying to get him out of office. We have no idea. They're at war. We're not even playing at the field. We're not sitting at the table. It's all speculation for us because we are not even in there. You don't even have anything to gain or lose by this because we didn't participate in getting these people in this position. All right? They don't even have to bargain with us. They don't even have to listen to us. Okay? And so, again, too, with that, Biden, all he did was say, if you don't vote for him, you're not black. He told the leaders that, their church leaders and different so-called black leaders, he told them he's not doing anything for them. And they were just asking for him to actually put forth the prosecution of some of the police officers that have killed unarmed black people. And he said, no, he's not doing anything. And he was agitated, like, stop bothering him. So, they don't need you. You don't really participate. And the level that you participate in that is at a juvenile level. You don't even understand that you can't play the game with your emotions. And that you have to be consistent and organized, strategic, and you have to stick with the plan. And that's why I said, right, you participate in that. All a member is synonymous to citizen in our government. So you have to participate in the uplifting acts if you're going to be a true Moorish American Muslim, right? Because he's putting the prophet's putting that pressure back on you to be active. And there's something that we have to learn how to do it. So all of that fantasy stuff, man, it's crazy talk, man. I ain't trying to hear any of that.
And it's time over for that. Game over for that.
Because the people was talking that stuff 20 years ago, and they have nothing to show for it. And they're talking it right now, and they're not going to have anything to show for that 10 years from now or 20 years from now. They're just talking fantasy talk, and it's garbage. You know, I'm not trying to hear any of that stuff. And it's like, you know, I just wanted to put that out there because, you know, it's in alignment with all this. You know, the people just want to escape. They're not trying to be responsible. And it's sad, it's pitiful. And you should want better for yourself. And if you don't know, you should want to learn so that you can be better. Because just, I don't know everything. I got a lot to learn. You know, my parents didn't do that stuff, going to town hall and all this. I have to learn everything for the first time.
All right. And some of us, like myself, the first time, firstborn U.S. citizens. You know, I got on my mother's side, like, you know, my mother wasn't born here, and so a lot of things she didn't know. So she couldn't pass down, you know, knowledge and stuff about how this system is set up. And, you know, what we're supposed to do to participate in the system. A lot of people coming over here are, you know, just trying to survive, trying to figure it out, trying to live the American dream. And that's what? Get money. Everybody just here trying to get money. It's not all about getting money, right? You have to...
What did the prophet say? Money doesn't make the man.
That's right. You got to know what to do with that money once you get it. Because if you don't, you're just going to give it right back.
You have to have free national standards, which means you have a way to conduct yourself. You're going to do this no matter what, whether you are poor or rich, whether you're up or down. You're going to do these things, right? You're not dictated by how much money you have.
Right.
Having more money is not going to make you more of a monster.
Right.
You can do more good. You should already care about your people, your community, so now you can do more good for your community too.
And that's another reason why a lot of you people, a lot of our people ain't making good money. You feel me? Because you can't be trusted with money. You know, your God is not going to put big bank in your hand because you can't be trusted. You can't be trusted with little bank. You don't do nothing good with it. You don't do nothing. You don't create wealth for your family. You don't set your kids up. You don't set businesses up. You know, everything you do is a scam, a hustle, a lick. You know, you just here for right now. I'm just going to do this, you know, instant gratification, and I can't die with it, so let me spend it all right now. No, that's not how it works, fool, and that's why we're at the bottom, okay? Time up for it. For all the BS, for all the complaining, for all the excuses, stand up. You are mighty people, beautiful, the strongest, smartest people on the planet. You gotta show that.
Yeah, you have to prove it.
You gotta be that.
It sounds like talk right now.
You gotta
it sounds
be
like
that.
Talk. You gotta live up to it.
It's real. We're the people of all the holy books. You know, we're the chosen ones. You just gotta act the part, be the part. Stop pretending to be referees and shit. Stop being on the sideline.
Like you
Stop
can't,
being rappers.
you can't, like, for the ones who's so smart to know everything, and like, this is all about us. Like, no, it isn't. You can say some of it is about us. They're hiding who we are. Okay, but that's over with.
You know who you are now.
At the table. They're actually at war with each other. Okay? And they don't, you're an afterthought. They don't have to say, oh, let's get the Negro's opinion. No, they don't. They don't need your opinion. They do. They decide what they're going to do with us. They decide what we're going to think. They know that, he's going to be the bad guy. And most of you going to agree he's the bad guy.
You know why? Because you're under
D.L. Hughley is going to say something about him, and you're going to go with it.
Negro, which was made up by them to be abused and to be used. Get out of that freaking status by proclaiming your nationality and living, being your true selves, not what they made you to be.
Yeah, so don't get your head out the clouds. Stop fantasizing. It's not all about the the Moors or the so-called Negro, you know, and they don't have to talk to us or get our permission for anything. They just, the way they deal with us is the same way you deal with a child. They don't really have to come to us like that.
All right.
We're not playing the
first
game.
step is knowing. Then the second step is actually applying the knowledge and getting things done. That's it. Time to get things done. Let's go.
All right. Yeah. So get some more city councils and, you know, get something done at that level before, you know, you start acting like you got the empire and all of these fantasy, you know, make-believe scenarios. It don't work. Stop thinking it because you submitted this paperwork, this proclamation for Moorish American Day or Moorish American Week, and they signed off on it. That means they recognize us. You see people all the time saying that, oh, look, they proclaimed the Moorish American Day. It's like, no, you sent them the paper recognizing Moorish American Day, and you put things in there like the Moors are the forefathers of humanity, and they just, whoever's the mayor or whatever, just signed it. That's all that happened. That's not a formal declaration of who you are. That's a shortcut. You're trying to shortcut. See, that means that they acknowledge us. No, that means nothing.
It ain't real.
And it holds no weight. And when it happened in Memphis, and you know what the mayor of Memphis did? He rescinded it after this woman got in trouble for squatting in a home, and she wound up getting arrested, and I think they hit her with like 10, 20 years. And the mayor was an Asiatic man. He rescinded the proclamation for Moorish American Week or the day or whatever it was.
Who was that, AC Warden?
Yeah. And it's like, come on. And then that declaration, what do you think that, oh, they recognize, so what now? Did this city recognize this day? What? They got to give you millions and billions? What? They got to give you land? No. It's all fantasy talk. It's all, and it does. I mean, it may sound good if somebody's new to this knowledge, you know, it sounds cool, but no, been in it too long.
And it can't be a group of three jailbirds who's doing this. Okay?
You gotta do better than that,
Come on, man. Get your community up.
You want the Moorish American Week? Great. Now you need to go and get a Moorish American neighborhood and act like grown-ups. You have to get this council to, you know, to be in charge of the taxes and finances for the town and the city, and you have to get control. You know, you actually have to like take care of things like the water. Where's the water level? You know, the water coming from, right? Mm-hmm. What y'all doing with the trash? You have to do grown-up work. You know, and it's like, if you're not doing these things, don't say, oh, we got the proclamation.
Right.
That means
nothing.
You
don't have a real plan.
That means nothing. It holds no weight. And it hasn't resulted in anybody's life being like dramatically improved.
You want the big house to show them how to take care of the apartment.
Just paperwork. You might not even have to talk to anybody. They just sign it, send it back to you. Like, come on, man. That was easy.
All right, y'all. We're done. Peace and love. Peace.
All right. Peace. All right. Yeah. On that note, let me make sure you can hear me. Can you hear me? All right. So yeah, on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and close out. Somebody said, should we focus on treaties and constitution? Look, I'm not saying don't study this and actually gain a full, thorough understanding of it so that it carries some weight. But I'm saying that is just a small, minute aspect of things at this point in time right now. All right. Because if it was really all about the treaties and the Constitution, like, why don't we have anything? There have actually been organized bodies and groups of Moors that have been pushing this for the longest, and they've gotten nothing out of it. Right. I'm saying don't skip the actual physical work that needs to be done. Right? Like, I can't get where I want to be at physically, you know, whether you're talking about your body, your health, the wealth, for your family, by just thinking about it, of like submitting paperwork. You actually have to get out there and work. So I'm saying that the real work that has to be done that everybody seems to want to ignore, which is letting it be known that a lot of people still don't really want to be successful, not really trying to do this. You actually have to do the work in your community, You have to get at the table. The prophet said, you know, we will be seated, able to be seated at the table with the family of nations. You have to be at the table. You have to be participating just like everyone else. You have to gain controls of your neighborhoods, right? Like, yeah, you know, the right now, you know, there's a lot of Asiatic communities that are not controlled by the people. And a lot of these communities are just neighborhoods, but they have enough people in them to have some type of council. It's not a town council, but it's some type of board that is over the finances for that community. And then you have the board of commissioners, the county commissioners that controls the tax millions of dollars for that whole county, which your city is inside of. And like, we're not participating in any of that. You know, like the city I'm in, it's an Asiatic dude, it's the county commissioner. And like, we don't have any say in that. It don't even matter if it's somebody that looks like us. They're not looking out for you. You're not even at the table. You're not even participating in that. And I'm saying you can't just mind power skip over all that just because you know a little bit. No, a lot of work has been put into making this process the reality that you live in. And so you're going to have to put in some work to change it if you really want it to change. You can't just skip over it. All right. So, yeah, I'm telling you that regardless of the treaties and the Constitution and all of these things, that there's still a county commissioner that's controlling hundreds of millions of dollars or maybe even more. You know, if you in a big city, you know, maybe even billions for your county. And you can't skip over that. You're going to have to play the game just like everybody else. All right. OK, and so if you're in the neighborhood, this majority of your people, and it doesn't have the resources that it should, and there's a liquor store on every corner and things, I'm saying you can't skip over that. You need to control that stuff. You need to change it. And you need to, you know, start incorporating your own towns or something, and start governing yourself from that level, and then move up. Then maybe once you got enough weight up to maybe move up to the state level. And I'm saying this is what the prophet was doing in a short amount of time. And yes, it takes work. And a lot of people don't want to do that. They just don't want to do the work. And then I understand a lot of people don't know that. They don't know. We're already recognized by the family of nations. The prophet satisfied all of the prerequisites for nationhood when he set up the government. Some people will tell you the Moorish Science Temple of America is not the government, but then those same people will try to flip and act like they follow the prophet. He did everything. He set it up. He moved as an international head of state. It was self-governing. It was bringing in finances. They were able to put people in office. It was done. And now it's just sitting here waiting for us to come in and put in the work. And so, you know, some people just don't understand. They just don't know what to do, and that they're not trying to mislead. They just don't know. But they need to step back and stop running their mouths because they don't really know what to do. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of people out here that don't know as much as you think they do, or as much as they might try to act like they do. They don't. All right. It's going to take a lot of work and real physical work. And that's the problem, that a lot of people is just not trying to do it. You know, because if you have been watching this whole broadcast, then you should have seen or heard the discussion about how we actually have to physically do the work in our neighborhood and then gain political control of your community and then move from there. There's no magic skip around. Oh, I do X, Y, and Z and they're going to respect it. No, they're not. They're at war with each other right now. And they don't have to respect you, because unlike the prophet who had thousands and thousands of Moors ready to move in one direction, and they actually did, and they actually were putting people in office, people had to know them because they could put else in office. Right? He didn't skip over the process and say, oh, no, you know, because we the sovereigns, we the Aboriginal, we don't have to do that. No, he didn't do that. He moved with the system. And then they had to recognize him. That's why it carried weight. And so if you're not doing any of those things, you are not following the prophet. You're not emulating the prophet. At the end of the day, you can't skip that. You can't leave it out. It don't work if you don't do it right. Bottom line, it doesn't work. Right? And it's not because the system doesn't work. It's because if you're not doing what the prophet did, you know, you're not emulating it. You're not even really trying to make it work. All right. So it's not really hard when you think about it. It's not really hard to understand how or why it could work. It's just that people either aren't astute, you know, not understanding, or they're just not trying to do it because it's too hard. All right. And before we close out, though, I did want to share this just for those that don't know, because it's annoying to hear people pumping the propaganda about the coronavirus, and then the way that they have us all, you know, under mind control and under you know, censorship, where we can't speak, you can't tell the truth, you can't even express a different idea that's outside of the mainstream. So everybody has to go along with it. We have to go along and act like this is really some deadly virus that has us all so shook. We just have to wear masks, even if they're telling you have to wear a mask in your house, in your car, right? We know this is crap. It's fake. It's fake. It is what it is, man. It was man-made. You see this video up on the screen. It says FBI announces arrest of a Harvard professor and chair of the chemical biology caught working with the Chinese university in Wuhan, China. Right. And this was known. This happened, I think, in 2019. The dude was arrested. He was the head of the chemical biology department at Harvard. He was bringing Chinese nationals over here. They created the virus. They told the world that it came from people eating bats. Stupid. That's what they give to the mainstream. That's what they even played on the news. Like, that's how little they think of the people. They put this crap out there. And you know, I'm just letting it be known. I'm not going along with this stupid mess, man. You know, and it's dumb. You have to wear a mask and all this stuff. It's stupid, man. It's foolish. And they have, you know, everybody brainwashed. And you know, even for people that are Moors, you know, like, look, that was it. The prophet put in work, real physical work. He showed you how it's done. They were putting people in office. Everyone was voting one way, and they were actually opening businesses. They were patronizing their own businesses. They were moving as a collective. It's not that hard. It's not brain science. Brain surgery. All right. So it wasn't the prophets like, oh, well, we got this paperwork, we got these treaties, we ain't got to do none of that. We just automatically the rulers of this, and they gonna respect it. Nah. It's like, bro, we at the bottom, and we're still at the bottom, because even though we have might, they say the so-called African Americans collectively make like 2 or 3 trillion a year. We ain't in control of it. As soon as it comes in our hands, it goes out. So the prophet slowed down things like that. Like, okay, we have our own community, so at least some of us are recirculating it within ourselves, and then politically we moving for our own interests, and that's how it worked. And then also, which people don't even know because they're not even coming into the temple or even reading the Quran. Like, look, we have these social constructs. This is how we treat each other. This is how we do business with each other. This is how we have trust amongst each other, right? That shut all that down, right? That's how it worked. It was no mystery to it. And so, you know, for people that really want to know, I would say just join our Zoom class. We can go on ahead and get up out of here. But it wasn't rocket science. It was plain. It was to the point and direct. And that's why it can still work in this day and time. Because, look, we're all practicing Islamism. We're all Muslims. There's certain things that we do and do not do. Right? I don't care that they're pushing sexual freedom and you can't slut shame. I don't care if they're pushing that crap. You're not going to be telling my daughter it's okay for her to be a slut and listening to, you know, WAP, wet ass pussy. Like, really? Like that wouldn't even fly for Moorish American Muslims. So I mean, I'm sure there's some females that consider themselves Moors that thinks that stuff is cool. And it's like, you still got a lot of, I mean, we all have a ways to go, but you know, you kind of behind the 8 ball if you think that's cool, because that's savage. And we're supposed to be going in the opposite direction. So yeah, that was the thing. We have common bonds that keep us within the frames of righteousness, or at least working towards it. At least you're not out here proud to be a hoe, proud to be a fool, proud to be ignorant, you know, proud to be underachieving, just period. If we're not even working towards being our best, right? So Moors are supposed to be upright, independent, and fearless, no matter what. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. You know, even our children are charged with the duty. You know, look at the Constitution. The children have are charged to do the same thing as us. So, you know, we have that, and we move as a collective. We have our own government, our own body, our own structure, and that's why it works. Plain and simple. So all that stuff about the treaties and stuff, that's cool and all. Hey, maybe there'll be a group of philosophers that can work on that and see and find ways to make that work. But that doesn't mean we don't need to start taking over our own communities. Like, come on, more serious. Like, it's pitiful. There's communities where it's like 90% Asiatic and they have no control over it. School system trash, liquor stores all over the place. Just, you know, trash. Resources are going out of the community because they'll take your tax dollars and send them other places. And y'all not seeing the benefit of it. So that's, you know, that's something that you can't skip over. Got to take care of that. And if you want the Zoom info, go to moorishamericans.com. The info is on the website. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. Go to moorishamericans.com and just click on there. On the post that's on there with the Zoom information for the classes, it's one tomorrow, 7 p.m. every Friday and Sunday. And you know, we all have work to do. Nobody's sitting up here acting like they perfect, but that's really why, you know, we're behind the game. And then, you know, to look at everything that's playing out on the world scale and to wrap this whole thing up, since it said the climate in America, this is interesting. But at the end of the day, you know, it kind of goes over our heads. You know, we're in an interesting position because we can see things play out, but we don't really have anything to lose. Not saying that it ain't going to get worse. Just saying we're already kind of living through the hell collectively that other people are just now starting to experience, right? They don't like being told what to do. You have to wear a mask. We've been getting told what to do. We've been experiencing, you know, injustice and being disenfranchised, right? So now other people are starting to catch up to that. Okay, but at the end of the day, you know, they are working to take away even more of the freedoms and things that we take for granted. And that's not cool. That's what I was just trying to point out, that, you know, the thing with Trump, man, they're selling this guy to you as the bad guy. Maybe you need to look a little deeper. As you see on the screen, Dave Rothschild talking bad to Trump, right? And that was 2 years ago when Trump was going hard at the Fed. He's actually dismantling the Federal Reserve. He's actually shut down two central banks, and he's going for a third one. And so, like, the International Monetary Fund, you know, the central banking system, the Federal Reserve, taking all of that down, like that's powerful. It's powerful, and I don't see anybody else moving like that. So, you know, I could care less about all that racism stuff. Like, I'm not emotionally tied to any of that. I don't care. Like, that's cool. I'm with that. I say, you know, more power to him. He's definitely way, like, light years ahead of Biden or anyone else that was running for president. And I'm saying, look a little deeper. And as far as us, you know, we have a lot of work to do regardless, because we just have a lot of work to do, Morris. All right. So on that note, peace and love. Make sure you go and subscribe to the 144,000.com. And you can scroll up in the chat and click on the link, or you could just look up THA144000.com. All right. And on that note, y'all Moors, enjoy your weekend. Peace and love.